Automatically assigning colors to new tracks/channels. You can automatically assign colors to newly added tracks or channels. Procedure, select Edit Preferences. Open the user interface page and select Track and MixConsole channel colors. Open the Auto Track/Channel Color Mode pop-up menu and select an option. Click OK. Result, any tracks/channels that you added by using Add Track or by dragging files from the media rack to the event display are automatically colorized according to your settings. Related links. User interface, Track and MixConsole channel colors. Renaming tracks. Showing track pictures. Showing track pictures. You can add pictures to tracks to recognize your tracks. Track pictures are available for audio, instrument, MIDI, FX channel, and group channel tracks. Prerequisite, adjust the track height to at least 2 rows. Procedure, right-click any track in the track list. From the track list context menu, select Show Track Pictures. If you move the mouse to the left on a track, a highlighted rectangle appears. Double-click the rectangle. In the Track Pictures browser, select a picture. Click OK. Result, the picture is shown in the track list and in the MixConsole pictures section. Related links. Track Pictures browser. Adding track pictures to MixConsole channels. Automatically assigning colors to new tracks/channels. Track Pictures browser. Track Pictures browser. The Track Pictures browser allows you to set up and select pictures that can be shown in the track list and in the MixConsole. With Track Pictures, you can recognize tracks and channels. You can select pictures from the factory content or add new ones to the user library. To open the Track Pictures browser for a track, double-click the square in the lower left side of the track list. Factory shows the factory content in the Pictures browser. Pictures browser shows the pictures that you can assign to the selected track/channel. User shows your user content in the Pictures browser. Import opens a file dialog that allows you to select pictures in BMP, JPEG, or PNG format and add them to the user library. Remove selected pictures from user library. Removes the selected pictures from the user library. Reset current picture. Removes the picture from the selected track/channel. Show preview/hide preview. Opens/closes a section with further color and zoom settings. Track picture preview shows the current track picture. When you zoom in the picture, you can drag it with the mouse to change its visible part. Track color opens the color picker that allows you to select a track color. Intensity allows you to apply the track color to the track picture and to set the color intensity. Zoom allows you to change the size of the track picture. Rotate allows you to rotate the track picture. Related links. Showing track pictures. Adding track pictures to MixConsole channels. Showing track pictures. Setting the track height. Setting the track height. You can enlarge the track height to show the events on the track in detail, or you can decrease the height of several tracks to get a better overview of your project. To change the height of an individual track, click its lower border in the track list and drag up or down. To change the height of all tracks simultaneously, hold down Ctrl/CMD, click the lower border of one track, and drag up or down. To set the number of tracks to view in the project window, use the Track Zoom menu. To set the track height automatically when you select a track, click Edit, Enlarge selected track. Related links. Track Zoom menu. Track Control Settings dialog. Track Pictures browser. Track Zoom menu. Track Zoom menu. The Track Zoom pop-up menu allows you to set the number of tracks and the track height in the project window. To open the Track Zoom pop-up menu in the lower right of the project window, click the arrow button above the vertical zoom control. The following options are available. Zoom tracks X rows. Zooms all track heights to show the specified number of rows. Zoom tracks full. Zooms all tracks to fit in the active project window. Zoom tracks in rows. Allows you to set the number of rows to fit in the active project window. Zoom X tracks. Zooms the specified number of tracks to fit in the active project window. Zoom in tracks. Allows you to set the number of tracks to fit in the active project window. Zoom tracks minimal. Zooms all track heights to the minimum size. Snap track heights. Changes the track height in fixed increments when you resize it. Setting the track height. Selecting tracks. Selecting tracks. You can select one or multiple tracks in the track list. To select a track, click on it in the track list. To select several tracks, Ctrl/CMD click several tracks. To select a continuous range of tracks, shift-click the first and last track in a continuous range of tracks. Selected tracks are highlighted. Related links. Track selection follows event selection. Scroll to select a track. Select channel/track on solo. Select channel/track on edit settings. Track zoom menu. Selecting tracks with arrow keys. Selecting tracks with arrow keys. You can select tracks and events with the up arrow key or the down arrow key on the computer keyboard. You can also make the up arrow key and the down arrow key exclusively available for selecting tracks. To make the up arrow key and the down arrow key exclusively available for selecting tracks, activate use up/down navigation commands for selecting tracks only in the Preferences dialog editing page. The following applies. If this option is deactivated and no event/part is selected in the project window, the up arrow key and the down arrow key are used to step through the tracks in the track list. If this option is deactivated and an event/part is selected in the project window, the up arrow key and the down arrow key still step through the tracks in the track list, but on the selected track. The first event/part is automatically selected as well. If this option is activated, the up arrow key and the down arrow key are only used to change the track selection. The current event/part selection in the project window is not altered. Selecting tracks. Deselecting tracks. Deselecting tracks. You can deselect tracks that are selected in the track list. Procedure. Shift-click a selected track. Result. The track is deselect. Selecting tracks with arrow keys. Duplicating tracks. Duplicating tracks. You can duplicate a track with all of its contents and channel settings. Procedure. Select project, duplicate tracks. Result. The duplicated track appears below the original track. Deselecting tracks. Disabling tracks. Disabling tracks. You can disable audio, instrument, MIDI, and sampler tracks that you do not want to play back or process at the moment. Disabling a track zeroes its output volume and shuts down all disk activity and processing for the track. Procedure. Select the tracks that you want to disable. Right-click in the track list and select Disable Selected Tracks from the context menu. Result. The track color changes in the corresponding channel in the MixConsole is hidden. To enable the disabled tracks and to restore all channel settings, right-click in the track list and select Enable Selected Tracks. Duplicating tracks. Freezing multiple tracks. Freezing multiple tracks. You can freeze multiple selected audio, instrument, or sampler tracks. Procedure. In the track list, select the tracks that you want to freeze. Do one of the following. Select Edit, Freeze/Unfreeze selected tracks. Right-click one of the selected tracks and from the context menu, select freeze/unfreeze selected tracks. Note: if you select several tracks and you click Freeze Audio Channel, Freeze Instrument Channel, or Freeze Sampler Channel in the inspector, only the active track is frozen. In the Freeze Channel Options dialog, make your changes. Note: you can also select Edit, Freeze/Unfreeze selected tracks with current settings to freeze the tracks without showing the Freeze Channel Options dialog. In this case, the last settings are applied. Click OK. Result: the output of the tracks are rendered to audio files, and on playback you hear the same sound as before freezing. Less CPU load is used. The Freeze Audio Channel, Freeze Instrument Channel, or Freeze Sampler Channel buttons light up. The track controls are grayed out. The audio events and MIDI parts are locked. You can still adjust the level and panning, make EQ settings, and adjust the effects ends. The sampler control section in the lower zone of the project window is disabled. Note: the audio file is saved in the Freeze folder that can be found in the following location. Windows, within the project folder. macOS, user/documents. The freeze options are saved and used for all further freeze operations. Note: in the key commands dialog in the edit category, you can also assign a key command for freeze/unfreeze selected tracks and freeze/unfreeze selected tracks with current settings. After completing this task, to unfreeze the frozen tracks, select them and select Edit, Freeze/Unfreeze selected tracks or Edit, Freeze/Unfreeze selected tracks with current settings. Related links: Freezing Insert Effects, Freezing Instruments, Freeze Channel Options dialog for instruments, Unfreeze Channel Options dialog for instruments, Freezing External Instruments/Effects, Freezing Sampler Tracks, Freeze Channel Options dialog for sampler tracks, Unfreeze Channel Options dialog for sampler tracks, Disabling Tracks, Organizing Tracks in Folder Tracks, Organizing Tracks in Folder Tracks. You can organize your tracks in folders by moving tracks into folder tracks. This allows you to perform editing on several tracks as one entity. Folder tracks can contain any type of track, including other folder tracks. To add a folder track, click Add Track in the global track control area of the track list and click Folder. To add a folder track and to move all selected tracks into it, open the project menu. From the track folding submenu, select Move selected tracks to new folder. To move tracks into a folder, select them and drag them into the folder track. To remove tracks from a folder, select them and drag them out of the folder. To hide/show tracks in a folder, click the Expand/Collapse folder button of the folder track. To hide/show data on a folder track, open the context menu for the folder track and select an option from the Show Data on Folder Track submenu. To mute/solo all tracks in a folder track, click the Mute or Solo button for the folder track. Note: hidden tracks are played back as usual. Related links: Group Editing Mode, Freezing multiple tracks, Moving tracks to folder tracks, Moving tracks to folder tracks. You can move your tracks to folder tracks to organize them and to perform editing on several tracks as one entity. You can move any type of track, including other folder tracks, to folder tracks. Procedure: select Project, Track Folding, move selected tracks to new folder. Result: this creates a new folder and moves all selected tracks into it. Note: you can also drag and drop tracks into or out of a folder track. Related links: Folder tracks, Organizing tracks in folder tracks, Handling overlapping audio, Handling overlapping audio. The basic rule for audio tracks is that each track can only play back a single audio event at a time. If two or more events overlap, only the one that is in the front is played back. You can, however, select the event/region that you want to play back. Procedure: do one of the following. Right-click the audio event in the event display and select the desired event or region from the To Front or Set to Region submenu. Note: the available options depend on whether you performed a linear or cycle recording and on the record mode you use. When recording audio in cycle mode, the recorded event is divided into regions, one for each take. Click the middle handle on the lower border of a stacked event and select an entry from the pop-up menu. In the track list, activate Show Lanes and select the desired take. Related links: Lanes, takes, and overlapping events. Moving tracks to folder tracks. Track folding menu. Track folding menu. You can show, hide, or invert tracks that are displayed in the project window event display. This allows you to divide the project into several parts by creating several folder tracks for the different project elements and showing/hiding their contents by selecting a menu function or using a key command. You can also fold in automation tracks this way. To open the track folding submenu, select Project, Track Folding. The following options are available. Toggle selected track. Reverses the full state of the selected track. Fold tracks. Folds in all open folder tracks in the project window. Note: the behavior of this function depends on the deep track folding setting in the Preferences dialog. Unfold tracks. Unfolds all folder tracks in the project window. Note: the behavior of this function depends on the deep track folding setting in the Preferences dialog. Flip fold states. Flips the full states of the tracks in the project window. This means that all tracks that were folded in will be unfolded and all unfolded tracks will be folded in. Move selected tracks to new folder. Moves all selected tracks to the folder track. This menu option is available if at least one folder track is available. Note: you can assign key commands to these menu options in the Key Commands dialog in the project category. If you activate deep track folding in the Preferences dialog, Editing, Project, and MixConsole page, track folding is applied to all sub-elements of the tracks. Handling overlapping audio. Events display on folder tracks. Events display on folder tracks. Closed folder tracks can display data of the contained audio, MIDI, and instrument tracks as data blocks or as events. When you close folder tracks, the contents of the contained tracks are displayed as data blocks or events. Depending on the folder track height, the display of the events can be more or less detailed. Track folding menu. Modifying event display on folder tracks. Modifying event display on folder tracks. You can modify the event display on folder tracks. Procedure: right-click the folder track. On the context menu, select Show Data on folder tracks. You have the following options. Always show data. Always displays data blocks or event details. Never show data. Displays nothing. Hide data when expanded. Hides the display of events when you open folder tracks. Show event details. Displays event details instead of data blocks. Note: you can change these settings in the Preferences dialog Event Display, Folders page. Related links: Event Display Folders. Events display on folder tracks. Lanes, takes, and overlapping events. Lanes, takes, and overlapping events. In the following, we focus on cycle recordings with takes. However, you can also apply lane operations and comping methods to overlapping events or parts that you assemble on one track. If you perform a cycle recording in the Keep History or Cycle History plus Replace modes, audio, or in the Stacked or Mixed Stack modes, MIDI, the recorded cycle laps are shown on the track with the last recorded take, active and on top. The Show Lanes mode gives you a good overview of all your takes. If you activate the Show Lanes button, the recorded takes are shown on separate lanes. Lanes are handled differently, depending on whether you work with audio or MIDI. Audio: as each audio track can only play back one single audio event at a time, you only hear the take that is activated for playback, for example, the last lap of a cycle recording. MIDI: overlapping MIDI takes parts can be played back simultaneously. If you recorded in mixed stack mode, you hear all takes from all cycle laps. Lanes can be reordered, sized, and zoomed like regular tracks. To solo a lane, you can activate the solo button for it. This allows you to hear the lane in the project context. If you want to hear the take without the project context, you also have to activate the solo button of the main track. Modifying event display on folder tracks. Assembling a perfect take. Assembling a perfect take. You can play back, split, and activate takes to combine the best parts of your recording in a final take. Procedure: select the comp tool or the object selection tool. Bring a take to the front to select it for playback and listen to it. Audition different takes to compare them in more detail. If necessary, split your takes into smaller sections, create new ranges, and bring them to the front. Proceed until you are satisfied with the result. After completing this task, after assembling your perfect take, you can improve your take. To automatically resolve overlaps and remove empty lanes, right-click the track and select Clean Up Lanes. For audio, proceed as follows. Apply auto fades and crossfades to the comp takes. To put all takes on a single lane and to remove all takes in the background, select all takes and select audio, advanced, delete overlaps. To create a new and continuous event of all selected takes, select audio, bounce selection. For MIDI, proceed as follows. Open your takes in a MIDI editor to perform fine adjustments like removing or editing notes. To create a new and continuous part of all selected takes that is placed on a single lane, select all takes and select MIDI bounce MIDI. To create a new part and place it on a new track, select MIDI merge MIDI and loop. Finally, clean up the lanes as follows. Right-click a track and select create tracks from lanes. The lane is converted into a new track. Lanes, takes, and overlapping events. Assembling operations. Assembling operations. Unless otherwise stated, all operations can be performed in the project window and in the audio part editor. Snap is taken into account and all operations can be undone. To assemble a perfect take, you can use the comp tool, the object selection tool, or the range selection tool. The comp tool modifies all takes on all lanes simultaneously. This is useful if the recorded takes have the same start and end positions. The object selection tool and the range selection tool affect single takes on individual lanes. If this is not what you want, you can either perform your edits on the main track or use the comp tool. Note: if you assemble stacked events on an audio track, deactivate treat muted audio events like deleted in the preferences dialog editing audio page. You can perform the following operations. Assembling operations. Operation. Comp tool. Object selection / range selection tool. Select. Project window only. Hold down shift and click on a take. Click on a take. Bring to front. Click on a take. Click twice to toggle. Position the mouse pointer over the middle of the lower border of a take until it changes to a comp symbol and click. Click twice to toggle. For MIDI, this mutes / unmutes a take. Comping. Create a new range and bring it to the front. Project window only. Click and drag on a lane. All takes are split at the start and end of the range. If the audio takes are adjacent, without gaps or fades, and if the material itself matches, the takes are merged within the range. Addition. Press Ctrl/CMD to activate the speaker tool, and click at the position where you want playback to start. See left. Move. Click and drag on the main track. Click and drag on any lane. Resize. Drag the resize handles. All takes with the same start and end positions are affected. Resizing is constrained to the end or start of the adjacent takes. This ensures that you do not accidentally create overlaps. Drag the resize handles. Correct timing. Slip event. Select a take, hold down Alt/Op-Shift, the tool modifier for slip event, and drag with the mouse. See left. Split. Alt/Op click on a take. If you split a MIDI part and the split position intersects one or several MIDI notes, the result depends on the split MIDI events option in the preferences dialog editing MIDI page. See left. Adjust splits. Position the mouse pointer over a split and drag to the left or to the right. See left. Gluing splits. Bring a new range to front. Select the range spanning all the splits that you want to glue and double click. Related links. Splitting events. Assembling a perfect take. Defining the track time base. Defining the track time base. The time base of a track determines if the events on a track are positioned to bars and beats, musical time base, or to the timeline, linear time base. Changing the playback tempo affects only the time position of events on tracks with a musical time base. Procedure: in the track list, click toggle time base to change the time base. Result: musical time base is indicated by a note symbol. Linear time base is indicated by a clock symbol. Note: switching between linear and musical time base results in a very small loss of positioning precision. Therefore, avoid switching repeatedly between the two modes. Related links: editing tempo and time signature, project tempo modes, assembling operations, defining the default track time base. Defining the default track time base. You can specify the default track time type for new tracks, audio, group/FX, MIDI, and marker tracks. Procedure: in the preferences dialog, select editing. Open the default track time type pop-up menu and select a default track time type. Result: if you selected follow transport main display, the primary time format setting on the transport panel is used. When this is set to bars plus beats, tracks with musical time base are added. When this is set to any of the other options, seconds, time code, samples, etc., all new tracks use linear time base. Related links: default track time type. Defining the track time base. Track versions. Track versions. Track versions allow you to create and manage multiple versions of events and parts on the same track. Track versions are available for audio, MIDI, and instrument tracks. You can also have track versions of the core track, the signature track, and the tempo track. Track versions are useful for the following tasks: starting new recordings from scratch, comparing different takes and comps, managing takes that were recorded in a multi-track recording. Note: track versions are not available for automation tracks. Track versions are included in track archives and project backups. The track version key commands can be found in the track versions category of the key commands dialog. Defining the default track time base. Track versions pop-up menu. Track versions pop-up menu. The track versions pop-up menu is available for all track types that support track versions. It contains the most important functions for managing track versions and a track versions list. To open the track versions pop-up menu for a track, click the arrow to the right of the track name. The following options are available. Track version list. Lists all track versions of the track for which you open the track versions pop-up menu and allows you to activate a track version. New version. Creates a new empty track version for all selected tracks. Duplicate version. Creates a copy of the active track version for all selected tracks. Rename version. Opens a dialog that allows you to change the track version name for the selected tracks. Delete version. Deletes the active track version for all selected tracks. This is only available if the track has more than one track version. Select tracks with same version ID. Selects all tracks that have a track version with the same ID. Show version name in track list. Show / hides the version name next to the track name in the track list. Track versions. Track versions section. Track versions section. The track versions section in the inspector allows you to view and manage track versions for a selected track. It is available for audio tracks, MIDI tracks, instrument tracks, the sampler track, and the core track. To open the track versions section for a track, select the track. In the inspector, click the track versions section. Track version indicator. indicates that more than one track version exists. Name shows the version name. Double-click to change it. The name will be changed for all selected tracks. ID shows the track version ID. Track version list lists all track versions and allows you to activate one of them for all selected tracks. New version creates a new empty track version for all selected tracks. Duplicate version creates a copy of the active track version for all selected tracks. Delete version deletes the active track version for all selected tracks. This function is only available if the track has more than one track version. Track versions pop-up menu, creating new track versions.